Hi there, I'm Pastor Johnson, and it is my privilege to invite you to join us for worship this coming Sunday, February 1st. It's almost impossible to believe we're already in February, but I'd love for you to join us. Our focus is going to be on the Beatitudes. Often we hear the Beatitudes, these blessed are the whatever. Maybe our mind goes to our favorite comedic sketch of the Beatitudes, or maybe just our mind hears those words but doesn't have something to latch onto. I want you to join us this weekend as we put real people into these words and indeed see these words as they meet us where we are. And God brings us his blessings. So I want to encourage you to join us for that. Invite a friend. This would be a great time to receive that gift of the Lord as we rejoice and are glad in the goodness of Christ. Now, we're going to do something special in this video. Actually, it's not super special, but what it is a new thing. You may know that we try to experiment, we try stuff. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't. But we're going to break this video up into 3 portions. The first portion already happened. That's the invitation to worship. And there's going to be timestamps on this video, as there have been for the last couple of weeks. And this is the second section. We're going to remind you of the weekly announcements. So in the future, if you don't want to know the theme of the day, or you're busy and you're just looking for that one little bit, check out the timestamps, click it, and go with it. C.S. Lewis said that, you don't have to read every word of a book. And I know that it may seem blasphemous if you were brought up in the same English classes that I was, but the same thing is true of a YouTube video. Not everything's going to fit. So, weekly announcements. This video goes live, and we'll still have a few things coming up late in this week. For the one I want to really remind you on is our chili cook-off. That'll be on Saturday, the 31st. I have a number of cooks already signed up, and we would love for you to join us. Not necessarily as a cook anymore, but certainly as a participant, as somebody who's going to go around, taste the chilies, vote. It's a great time of food and fellowship and friends and trying things we wouldn't otherwise try. It's a delightful evening, and I really hope that you'll join us for it. Number 2, want to invite you to take part in our 10 for 10 Giving Challenge. We've had 2 weeks on stewardship, and we're going to set the stewardship theme aside here directly, but want to encourage you to our 10 for 10 Giving Challenge. This is a giving of 10% of what God has given to you financially to the Lord's church so that the mission of the gospel can go forward. If you've never given deliberately or never thought about, well, how much should I give or why should I give, this is a great spot to start. It's an opportunity for us to have to trust the Lord and not to trust in the things that, well, our money can pay for 2-day shipping on. And so encourage you to this. This is a great and indeed necessary spiritual discipline, as money is a great temptation to draw our trust away from God and to the things we can do. Now, also want to invite you to join us on this Sunday because we have a voters meeting after our 11 o'clock service, and we would love to have you there as we talk about some of the overtures we're trying to send on to the Synod. You can see more about the overture process in last week's announcement video. Then this coming Thursday, February 5th, we have our Gal-entine event. This is a flower arranging event. I know that doesn't sound like maybe everybody's cup of tea, but from what I understand, it's going to be a fantastic evening. The guy who is running it for us is top in the state. They actually have competitions for flower arranging, and he's done incredibly well, and we are blessed to have him, and we look forward to hearing and seeing the experience of how to make things beautiful, which is something that, when you say it that way, that's something I think we can all get behind. So encourage you to sign up for that. Also then, on February 8th, we have a book sale. All right, thus ends the second section. We turn that off. We turn this on. It worked. Fantastic. Pastoral concerns. This is going to be our third section, and you've probably seen that we've done a few of these where pastors kind of talks for a minute about something going on in the week. This is one of those places where if you don't have time, click out, come back to it. What I want to talk about is busyness. I've had an opportunity both in public worship and in some private settings to teach on busyness and sloth. And I have to tell you that one of the things that as a pastor I hear often is, Pastor, I didn't want to bother you because I know you're so busy. My friends, little ones, children, beloved of God, you're right. I have a very full calendar. I'm a dad of 4. Do lots of ministry here at the church, try and serve the circuit, the district, and depending on how national conventions go, maybe even at the synodical level with various things. But that should never keep you from asking. My privilege of being your pastor is to bring you God's gifts. That might be God's gifts of comfort. It might be the Lord's Supper. That may be a time of being with you in prayer. You are the busyness that I am called to. I can do lots of things here in the office, make silly videos like this, do all of the papers and sermon prep and whatnot, but all of that is secondary to the care of God's saints. And so don't let my full calendar or even my sins of busyness get in the way of you receiving God's gifts. So please, when you have need, ask, and I will be there. All right, that's it for us, for our announcements for this coming Sunday and our invitation to worship. I hope I see you. Bye-bye.